Hello and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. My name is Adam. I'm the Community Manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and not pictured on your screen, is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with the good, the bad, the ugly 2021-2022 Vancouver Canucks season continued part 3. Jeff, we have so many things to celebrate today other than the NHL shutdown. So what a better way to do that than to play some Franchise Hockey Manager 8, which right now is on sale for 25% off as part of the winter sale.
Yep, and we'll be that way for a couple of weeks. So yeah, if you haven't picked up the game yet, now it's a good time to do it. So this game, we've basically reversed the Canucks season. They started out terribly and then hired Bruce Boudreau and turned the whole thing around, and now they're doing great. We started out, you go over to the schedule and I can show you. Started out not too badly. It was a little bit above 500. Then we hit the 6-game losing streak.
Excellent.
And we got a couple of wins back after that and one overtime loss, but now we're back losing again, and we've slipped well below 500, and we're more or less in the same position the actual Canucks are in.
Yes, I'm just going to point out here, we are currently streaming live on twitch.tv/franchise hockey manager, twitch.tv/OOTP developments, as well as our Steam page. And we are watching all three chats. So if you have any questions or just want to say hi, by all means, let us know. And we have Sungin says hi in our OOTP developments chat. So hi, thanks for coming out. Jeff, so what's been the big change here? Why have we suddenly turned it around?
Well, we turned it around in the wrong direction, and I kind of wish I knew that. We're going to have to, I think, deal with some of the things the real Canucks are going to have to deal with this year, figure out whether or not we want to still go for the playoffs or write this one off and potentially deal some of our better players, like JT Miller. Might be a good time to get a lot of something in return for him, because it's still a relatively young team. But the problem we got right now is we got a bit of a mess with the injury list, and we are slightly over the cap. So I'm wondering.
That is true. Well, you could do something like throw somebody on IR for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about last time, wasn't it? It's a bit of a cheat, but. Well, I guess.
Or you could.
Go ahead.
Actually, yeah, you're 2 million over, so you're gonna have to.
Well, unfortunately, I've got Nick Leddy, who I picked up on waivers, who's making 5 million, and that's exactly what we'll do. I'll move him to the injured list, gets us well below the cap, and we need somebody to. No, I was going to say we could activate Kyle Burrows, but he's not going to be ready to go yet, so we're going to have to call up somebody from Abbotsford. Boy, it's not promising. Cameron Schilling's the only 1.5-star guy we got down there, but he's actually signed directly to Abbotsford and not us. So let's see.
Well, that's an easy enough fix.
Harmonic is probably...
Otherwise, Jet Wu is your highest rated person on your depth chart.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the contracts are on. What's Shen at? Shen is making 800,000, so he'd be okay cap-wise. And I think, well, they're both 1-star, but I think Shen is slightly better, so I'm going to bring him back up. Don't love having to start a 1-star defense. Whoops. Oh, let's look. I see Canucks, and I'm thinking I'm on my roster. Okay, Shen goes in. Besser is healthy. We somehow missed that.
I think he had
just got back because he's only at 80% health right now, or fitness right now. I do need to sit somebody down, so that is probably going to be Tyler Mott. I got no idea what we were doing with the lines, so that actually seems pretty good. The AI wants. Yeah, it's keeping Shen on the 4th line, okay. And let's just continue this, and conveniently we got a game against Winnipeg.
Which in real life, the Canucks beat them in overtime?
Was it
Shootout.
Yeah.
I
And
think.
okay, Shin is going to need a number, and nobody has 2, so that's fine. You can have that. Demko's a little tired, so I'm going to let Gifalak the start. And we lose 4-3.
Disappointing.
Wasn't even in overtime.
So, Jeff, as you're going on here,
Yeah.
we released the holiday update for FHM. Can you tell us about what was added?
One of the things, well, one of the bigger things I can't show you in this one because we started the game before that, but we've got the Australian League is now playable. Been meaning to do that for a while, but the Australian League, they've actually had some, well, odd rules. They were only playing, I think, was it 45 or 50-minute games for a while? But they changed that in their last season. They've actually been shut down for a couple of years now due to COVID, but I think they're planning on coming back this summer. That's the other thing. They play a summer schedule. So we couldn't really do that in the game. We moved everything back 7 months to match the rest of the world. But you can now play in the Australian League, which is, pretty good challenge for somebody who hasn't tried international hockey before because you've got a very low-level league, and it's tough to sign players for it, so you got to develop them locally. And there's no draft system or anything like that, or no junior team system. It's pretty much just try to find the best players possible in your country and sign them and build a team out of that. And maybe scrape together whatever foreigners that are willing to come over.
Okay. Which they have had some over that way, I think.
Yeah, but I think it's been guys that have been like retired from the. They had somebody who was one NHLer. I can't remember who it was, but he'd been out. He hadn't been playing for years. I think. No, it wasn't. No, Tikkanen was in Korea.
Okay, I know Chris Mason ended up somewhere weird, didn't he? Oh, it was Italy he went. Okay. I think there was somebody else who went. Maybe they ended up in the Asian League, not the Australian League.
Game against Carolina. This is another one the Canucks won, but they're in the Carolina doing as well in this game as they started in real life. They're 19-4-3 already. And we beat them 5-2. Okay, that's promising. Although it did cost us Vasily Podkolzin, who has a strained pec out for 1 to 2 weeks. So we will.
That's not bad.
Just swap Mott back in for him. He can just slot right in there. Don't need to change anything.
So what else is new, Jeff, with the new update?
We also enabled modding for a bunch of things. Among them, you'll see it one the night before I go into the next game. But the hockey cards can now be modded completely. You can make up your own player cards. You can do it even if you want to do one per year. Have a different one for each season. You can do that. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what people do with that.
Yeah.
You going to work on any of them, or are you sticking with the national anthems?
We'll see. Yeah. Instructions for how to mod, because there is some specific things to make sure that the pitches generate properly are found on our forums, which if you own the game, when you start it, there's a link along the bottom, or you can go to ootpdevelopments.com and click on the community button at the top right-hand corner.
In the manual, the online manual too, when I get a chance.
Yeah, and as Jeff pointed out, yes, national anthems are now moddable, and
they were actually supposed to be in there from the beginning, but they weren't working properly. But they are now.
Yes.
Columbus next, and see if we can keep it rolling. And nope, 5-2 loss this time.
So because we were testing things, I had made a few sound clips, or got a few sound clips ready, I think maybe is a better way to say that, and of using some chiptune / 8-bit style ones with the last little clips of the anthems, and put it together and post it on our forums. And then a person who often streams our games and is one of our beta testers, Rit Flyers, ended up putting it up on the Steam Workshop, so you can download it and put it into your game as well.
So continuing to be inconsistent here. The good news is the rest of the division is doing terribly, so we're somehow still in 4th place. And just
Well, take the
checking
win
the
as you get it.
injury situation. Nick Leddy is ready, so I've got to put him back on the active roster. Now we got to deal with the cap situation again, which would put Colson going on the injured list, which you might as well do.
I told you this before. You should really put Tucker Poolman on the trade block. Or even just try moving him now. Let me see if
Yeah, that $2.5 million doesn't really help.
Ooh, I got a lot of trade offers for him. Let me just see if I got anything good. Get a 6th-round pick from Chicago.
That means if I trade Poolman, no, that means I have to play one of my 1-stars at D for the rest of the year, which isn't an exciting prospect. But I am slightly over the 1.6 million over the cap, so I'm going to have to do something here. Well, Dickinson I could move.
Oh, what was that? Okay.
What does my forward situation look like in Abbotsford? It's better than the D.
Okay, Jeff, here's a move you could actually make. If you don't want just like a 6th-round pick, Seattle offered me Gustav Olofsson back, who's currently playing with their AHL affiliate, and he's only getting paid $750,000. Granted, he's 1.5-star talent potential, but that gets you out of that contract in 1 year.
Yep, and looks like I'm going to have to do something like that. Okay, let's see what happens when I shop them. Yeah, we do get a few offers. Well, we got a whole bunch of offers back. Wow. Everybody wants them. 6th-rounder.
Yeah, a lot of 6th-rounders in different years, too.
Not interested.
Now, again, you could bring up someone like Ashton Saunter, who's 1.5 from Abbotsford, who's not signed to you but on the team. Yeah. Or there's somebody like Derek Pouliot, who's currently playing with Hershey, who you could probably sign for a pretty cheap contract.
And Brian Boyle, nope, don't want him. Just going through all my offers. Brandon Davidson, nope. So a lot of teams want him, but aren't really prepared to give up anything for him.
Well, he's also got a 4-year deal for $2.5 million.
Okay, here's an idea.
Zdeno Chara. Yes, love it. What's his contract? He's on a really easy contract, isn't he?
He's minimum salary. Let me just see if there's anything else anywhere near as good.
You could pick him up and then put him on the trade block and see if you could flip him at the trade deadline.
Might be an idea. The only problem I can see is he's at that age. Is he going to be kind of injury prone? I'm going to have to take a look at him and make sure. Because, I mean, nothing else I'm seeing here. It's all 6th-rounders and 1-star guys.
Well, again, getting out of that 4-year contract, I think, is a win.
Yeah, I get the same Olofsson offer you did from Seattle.
Yeah, and that's basically trading player for player, but you get out of that contract, and it gives you a player.
No, I'm doing the Chara thing.
I like it. If I would have got Chara, I would have definitely said that.
So
but I'd still put him on the trade block.
All of $150,000 under the cap.
Take what you can get.
Okay, do I have anybody coming back from injury imminently? Oh, Burroughs is about to come back too. So Shen will probably go back down when that happens. Brandon Sutter's at least got a timeline for coming back now, and Colson I don't have to worry about right now. And Chason doesn't seem to be doing much, so I'm going to swap him out for Patan. Yeah, Patan. And let's fix the lines. Boom, play left. Yeah, I think I want Chara playing a few more minutes than that. Put him on the second pair with Ekman Larson. Okay, so the restructured lineup.
Symphony for Destruction 99 in the in our OTP developments chat asks, is there a mode equivalent to Perfect Team in FHM, Jeff?
No, there isn't. That's something that took them a whole long time to develop for OTP, so that would be, if it ever happens, it's a while off. And Chara can't wear 4, so we're giving him 5. And oops, I meant to play Halak there, but Demko goes in and gets us a 6-2 win. Good line, good game for the, that's the second line that Besser's on, 4 points. And away to San Jose, really bad. I know they were actually a little bit ahead of us.
That's impressive for them.
Yeah.
Although Evander Kane wasn't probably suspended for the time, and probably not with their AHL team.
I think he's still suspended for at this point in the game.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, I had the correct suspension like then.
Oh, right. I guess we started late, right?
Yeah, that was in right from the release.
Was it? Man, I'm so lost on time these days.
Well, he wasn't. I bet that was like fairly late in beta testing before I added it, but you're probably thinking of that.
No, I'm just really mixed up on my days, Jeff. I think I'm safe to say that. I was talking with somebody, one of my friends, recently about something that happened 2 years ago, and it's like, well, it seems like it's been so much longer ago than that.
And why do I have a hole on my 4th line? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I counting wrong? I've got 4 wingers, 4 centers. Why is that 4th line right spot not filling in?
Do you have 7 defensemen dressed?
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I have 5 defensemen drafts. That's why I didn't have Letty in the lineup. Oh, and that's why Char was.
Oh, was it? It put Mud on defense. That's why.
Yeah, as it tries to fill the defenseman spots first.
Haha.
Actually, I'm just going to split time between the bottom 2 pairs because they're about equal. So that should be okay. And we have the Leafs. And Halak definitely needs to start this one because Demko's getting tired. And inconsistent as ever. Now we lose this one 3-1 or 6-3.
That could be something.
Hat-trick for Toronto.
That could be someone else you could put up on your trade block. Is put up Yaroslav Halak.
Yeah, he's. I've got DiPietro on the farm, so that's probably what's going to happen next season. But that may be a trade deadline move because at this point, the way things are looking, once I get to the trade deadline, I'm going to have to. There's no realistic way we can contend this year, I think. And it's looking like a fairly strong draft, so. No, but what?
No, I'm just looking at who you could get signed or get something back for.
Oh, God. Blown out 7-1 by Arizona, who was 7-20-2 going into this game.
Of course.
And now this is the point at which you got to start worrying about our job a little bit. Well, I think we'll probably have to lose a couple more, but this is not good. One other thing I did in the update, I changed the starting happiness values for a few of the fan bases, and I lowered the Canucks one. It won't affect us in this game because we'd already started the game. But if you're starting a Canucks game now, you've got a slightly more impatient fan base to deal with.
I am shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
Oh, here's something I could do. I wanted to trade to Lack. The Stars just put Braden Holtby on waivers. As it looks. Oh, yeah, that's right. Bishop's come back in this one. He's not... his injury wasn't career-ending, so they got him back, and they had to move somebody.
Fair enough.
Holtby or Kudobin. Kudobin's having a heck of a year for him. He started really well, so yeah, it had to be Holtby. So I'm imagining Holtby gets picked, but what kind of a contract is... Oh, yeah, $2 million contract. I can't afford that under the cap. Zalak's only making 1.5. So Demko back in against San Jose. See if we can turn this around. And
Here's hoping.
we squeak out a 2-1 win. Pretty good shot advantage, so I think we played reasonably well. And I guess we're into the period now where actually that was yesterday's game. Would have been yesterday's game if they hadn't started canceling games. So another thing we should mention, I guess, with the NHL not going to the Olympics, I'm not sure what we're going to do there. I guess technically we should take them out of the Olympics in the game for this year. But that's going to really mess things up schedule-wise because we had to add some... there was one special mechanic we had to add to get the schedule to shorten, and it's just generally a big old mess. So I think we may just leave the NHL and the Olympics for this year in the game, because presumably that it looks like the expectation is they're going to go back to doing that in starting with Turin in 2026. So maybe it's not worth taking them out just for the 1 year.
Well, I think it said that this was an agreement that they would be at the 2026 Olympics, assuming, it doesn't crash and burn.
And I mean, maybe just treat it like everything else, and like you don't get a bunch of, 15% of the league, I think, is on in the COVID protocol now.
Yeah, actually, did you see the bigger news? Well, we had been talking about news, but probably not enough yet, is they said if Montreal can't have fans at their games, they're probably going to delay Montreal's games.
Well, I mean, they've got a little bit of breathing room now that the Olympics are canceled, so they can push into that part of the schedule.
But the reasoning, the big reasoning is because because Montreal makes so much money and it hurts the players too.
Oh, just on ticket sales from the games? Yeah.
Well, yeah, Elliot Freeman had
something that's not getting mentioned a whole lot, that the players are in an ugly situation now with thanks to revenue sharing, since the owners are making nowhere near as much as they expected. Nice 4-0 win there. Halak gets the shutout. Tyler Myers with 3 assists.
My first game I was going to go to this year got canceled, so.
And we lost Mo Horvat, but it's only day-to-day, fortunately. You were thinking going to that WWE show. When was that going to be?
That's in late January.
I just saw a rumor that they've got a bunch of people down with COVID too now. They haven't mentioned any names or anything, but I guess that's half capacity now too for you guys.
They've announced it through like January 15th, but Elliot Friedman's piece had a really interesting. I think it was his 32 Thoughts this week on Sportsnet. Talked about like Montreal makes $2.4 million for every game they host, and Toronto's like 2.2, and Vancouver's or Edmonton somewhere around there, and then it's like Vancouver and Winnipeg are like 1.7 or 1.4, and then it's like 1.2 for Ottawa. And they said so for revenue sharing, every game that the Canadian teams don't play or don't play close to capacity is devastating to all the players and everyone else. P-Wog says, "Go Wings and happy holidays." Thanks, P-Wog. Thanks for coming out.
And we got Kyle Burrows back, but he's not going to be playing yet. He's the 7th defenseman now, so I sent Shen back down.
But yeah, I was supposed to be at the Winnipeg versus Seattle game in January, but my tickets got cut.
Oh, how'd they do it? They're doing it by seniority on season tickets, or
Honestly, I have no idea how they're doing it. They just said that they were going to cut them, and I'm like, okay, well, it's is what it is. I have tickets for later on in the year.
and Jesper Bogqvist going from New Jersey to the Islanders.
Yeah,
And
PWOG says in the chat, you sound a little quiet, Jeff.
it was not my fault. I was leaning back.
PWOG, let us know.
Yeah. Okay. And Horvat is not quite ready. Come back. We're going to have to shuffle the lines around to account for that. Dickinson on the second line. That's not what he's there for.
He is half the volume you are.
That's kind of odd. That any better?
I'm just a loud, boisterous personality.
Yeah, I don't think I haven't done anything with the sound settings from last week.
No, I'm trying. My mic's a solid foot away from me.
And Demko got a 3-0 another shutout win over Seattle. So actually, that's two shutouts in a row, different goalies, but haven't given up a goal since, and one goal in our last 3 games. So defensively, it's starting to work. And that's with Horvat out of the lineup, and great. We lost Besser for 2 weeks. So Pearson's out with food poisoning, and Horvat is also out day-to-day with a bruised hip. We need one of those guys to come back.
Here's hoping sooner rather than
days
later.
to do it.
Cardinals fan 30,000 says Seattle not doing terrible in their first season in existence.
Didn't look. I have to check that in a second when it comes back.
No, they're not outright bad. Nobody is as outright bad, or could be as outright bad as, the 90s and early aughts expansion teams.
Yeah, just because the expansion drafts were so terrible and the talent wasn't spread as thinly through the league as it is now.
Well, I mean,
Calgary
really
disappointing in this one. Look at that. They're although this was, I think, from near release. I've upgraded the Calgary players quite a bit since then, I think.
They are playing well for their coach.
The big difference between the Central and Pacific divisions. Look at that. Everybody except Arizona in the Central is above 500, and meanwhile we're in third place, and we're in the or actually tied for second. It's 35 points for all 3 teams, and we're under 500 in the Pacific.
Cardinals fan 30,000 says, "My Blues though."
Yeah, they're still in it.
So, well, again, while we're talking about other news, how do you feel about Calgary pulling the plug on their arena? Do you think they'll get it back on track or not?
No, I don't think you're going to be able to hold up the city to. I guess the idea is, do they want more funding from the city or the city funding most of the arena? Or governments, I guess a provincial government could do it too.
It was a 50-50 split, I think, but it's now getting the fact that it's gone up more money.
Okay, this is really looking ugly for us here as I'm juggling the lines around to make up for the injuries, but let's see what we can do against Anaheim. 5-3 win. Huh. So the worse things look for us, the better we seem to do.
The Wild are playing out of their mind right now, and same with Carolina. Carolina was expected. Minnesota is playing better than I think anyone thought. Not that they weren't going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was our game 2 years ago, wasn't it? We rebuilt the Wild. And it took, about 2-3 years?
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. And again, I'm really curious what they're going to do next year, because they're going to have a whole lot of cap trouble next year. Because right now they don't have Sutter and Parise's contract on the books, and it's a bit of a grace period, but they get a $15 million cap hit next year.
Penalty for the buyouts, yeah.
Yeah. And so they have $15 million tied up in them. out of 82 million or 83 million, whatever it happens to be. Then they're paying Kaprizov, what is it, 8 million, and paying Eriksson Ek another 6 million. So then you're like, what? You're pushing close to 30 million on two players and two guys who aren't there.
Actually, I can check it in the game. It should show me.
And so that's
so here's what Adam's talking about next year. It's they've got about a 4.7 million penalty this year, but it jumps up to 12 million next year. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in the game to get out from that under that. And we are actually back at 500, by the way. Slowly clawing ourselves back up the ladder. And can anybody count? Horvat is still day-to-day. Besser is still day-to-day. Pearson is still playing despite being hurt.
Yeah, P-Wog's posting about the Olympics, or about them not going to the Olympics. Yeah, part of it, too, is the uncertainty of if players go and then catch it, how long they might actually be there and how much money they might lose, because it's not impossible that they would have to be in quarantine for like 5 weeks.
Yep.
And that's a big chunk of...
And so 5-3 win over the Kings, and Podkolzin's back, so I think we're almost as healthy, other than those couple of minor and day-to-day injuries. Once we get those back, we're as healthy as we've been this year. Furland is done permanently, and Sutter is a long way off, so this is actually about as good as we get roster-wise, and I have to send somebody down now. Or put somebody on the injured list for a few days. And if I do put somebody on the injured list, it will be retroactive. The counter will start retroactively, so.
So then you should put Besser on?
When's the next game, though? It'll be in the new year. Yeah, that's on Saturday. Then we are on Thursday. It's only 1 day, so. Yeah, I may have to.
Dun, dun.
Okay, gonna put Besser on the injured list, and he's gonna miss that game. But his counter's only at 4, so he'll be back. Should be for the one after that.
Yeah, and just because we're continuing talking about things that happened in real life, since the last time we streamed, the Winnipeg Jets head coach stepped down, Paul Maurice.
Yep, you guys are, I think, only 1 point back, 1 point ahead of us now. You're starting to slip a little. What happened there?
Well, that's probably what. Yeah, Paul Maurice. Actually, it was really interesting. If you haven't seen his press conference, it's a pretty good press conference to watch. And they said ever since he said the lockout shortened season, but he meant the COVID shortened season. He's really kind of felt burnt out, and since the bubble. And they said like he just really felt like he wasn't having the same drive that he did previously, and I think he knew that. And he saw that this team was by this team. I mean, the Jets were underperforming for what they should be. And he said, I think they need a new voice. And so he decided to resign and leave on good terms rather than have his GM, Kevin Chevalier, off or the owner fire him.
Okay, and we got the end of season player poll. None of our guys mentioned. And anything particularly surprising in there? Not really.
But my point being on this was, I got asked via a couple different messages what my thoughts were and if it was the right move. And I think it was probably getting to the point where they might have needed a new coach or needed something to shake it up. But I don't necessarily know if Maurice being gone is the right answer, or if Dave Lowry being the new head coach is the right answer.
Speaking of which, that's another thing we did with the update was update all the rosters with the current start. So those are actually as of December 15th. So a week ago today, So it doesn't include Maurice resigning, since that was a couple of days later, and then I think there's been a couple of other NHL moves since then that aren't in
Sounds
there, but it has relatively up-to-date rosters.
yeah. So I don't know. I think if Pascal Vincent was still the coach of the Moose, he probably would have got the job. But since he's in Columbus right now, I think that's part of the reason why they said, we're just going to back off here and let Dave see how it goes. But I don't know who. I posted this on on Reddit for the question of who would you want replacing Paul Maurice? And the
We got
names getting tossed out.
development report in the game, pretty good. Only Halak is the only guy headed downhill. We got a lot of guys improving, so that's a good sign.
Definitely what you want.
Nobody in the top selling jerseys. Oh, he gets Sven Bartchy back from, he's playing in the AHL now. He's with Vegas. I don't think we're going to do that. And got to set our monthly budget. So, scouting support. I should mention this since it's come up a couple of times since the update. One of the things, this was originally intended to work this way in the freight right from the beginning this year, but didn't notice that it hadn't been doing that. You can't really see it in this because I've got my scouting is maxed out. But if I'd like to show you this temporarily. Let's see, I take my scouting down to +1. And then go back to the scouting screen. You notice that everything that this is dropped, and the highest I'd be able to get in this case is 16. So basically the first 15 points are determined by your actual scouts, and then the last 5 points by the amount of money you're spending on them via the scouting support rating. So I'm going to put that back up at +5, so we're maxed everywhere. Still piling up money during the regular season. Morale might as well still keep that all the way up. And I don't think we need to worry about attendance, so I'm just going to keep game promotions and arena operations stuff in the middle there, so we can pile up some money and maybe be able to spend a little more next year. And just checking the summary, yeah, you can see the way we're increasing there. That's good. And might even be able to afford some seating improvements next year.
Cool. Now, Jeff, with the latest update, what was the big update to scouting?
That was it.
Yeah.
Changing the fixing that one issue where it wasn't capping properly. Okay, Shayson goes out. Actually, no, Dowling is out, and Shayson goes in. I was going to say we should maybe give Chara a rest, but he doesn't seem to need it. And we're going to still have a couple of games with a really bad second line because Horvat's not quite ready and Besser's still on the injured list. So Seattle benefits from that here, but Demko's red hot. Let's see what he can do for us. And we wind up losing 3-2. Jaden Schwartz with 3 points for the Kraken.
Darn.
So we are just bouncing back and forth right around the 500 mark, which somehow is good for second place in the division. I mean, we may wind up having to, making the playoffs, but still having to rebuild in the midst of that. That's going to be weird.
What's going on with the Oilers there?
Well, they just tied us, it looks like. So they're not doing too badly. Not quite as good as... no, actually, McDavid is leading the league in scoring. Dreisaitl's fourth. So they're doing much better than Calgary in any case. I think we had Calgary underrated a little bit when the version of the database that we started this game in, but still should be better. And Tuukka Rask re-signing with the Bruins, so he'll be back in 2 or 3 months. once he's healthy again. So he may wind up finishing his career in Boston. Entry draft. I did make some changes to the 2022 draft prospects. I think Moroshnichenko has dropped down a little bit. Kemmel has moved up quite a bit. And where's the other one? Logan Cooley took a big jump too. And a few other guys going up and down, but those are the primary ones. But the big prize there is Shane Wright.
Maybe.
Have to win the lottery for that. So as the Canucks, that's just not going to happen.
I don't know. I think Matt Savoy would be a pretty good player too.
He's slid a little bit in the early rankings. Not a huge amount, but he's where he was generally like 2 or 3 consensus. I think most of them have him around 5-ish. I think somebody might still have him at number 2. And Horvat appears to be ready.
I think his biggest downer probably is his size. Because he's not.
And there's some question too, because he's playing with Geeky and another top 10 prospect. So which one is the guy that's got real potential, and which one is the other guy riding the coattails?
I mean, they were both drafted 1-2 in the WHL draft. Was Geeky Savoy?
Or are they both more like late first round picks that are just propping each other up? Ice are having a pretty good season, aren't they?
They are.
You're in trouble. Hellebuck's out day to day.
I'm in trouble. I don't play for the team.
Well, they're your team. And finally, Bo Horvat is healthy again. So are we as close to... Oh, no, we got... Besser's out day to day with that. His counter is actually back down, but his injury isn't back, even though it was day to day. So maybe we get him tomorrow. I'm going to take, Patan out. Horvat goes in, so we get something a little better on the second line. Pearson, Hoglander, and Horvat. Okay, good enough. And that looks fine. And everybody is 100% fitness, so they're at least well rested. Demko against the Islanders. I should have started to lack. That was his old team. But Demko gets us a 3-1 win. And I think it looks like where we are right now is probably about where the Canucks would be at this point if the season kept going normally. And Besser's almost ready to come back. And we got a couple of days off, so we should get him back here. But I don't know, as a Canucks fan, I'm not sure there's much of a point in pushing hard for the playoffs this year. Because I don't know how far we can go, and then we'd...
well, the only bad
draft pick, and
you don't have a second round pick this year.
Yeah, this is what we got. We've got the number one. We've got Winnipeg's third rounder, and then everything from the fourth round and back is ours. And we're missing a second rounder next year. But I would like to pick up a few more draft picks at the deadline, potentially high ones. Besser's still day to day with that hip strain. Although it is Ottawa we've got next, so it's not going to be the end of the world if he can't go against them. As they're better in the game they are in real life, but they're still dead last. I was looking for the injured list. Besser day to day still. And I'm going to go with Red Hot Demko in goal again, and it should be a win. And somehow we got shut out 3-0 by Ottawa. So we just
Well,
can't get more
that's
than about a game above 500 here.
getting beaten by Ottawa. That's not great.
A little embarrassing, yeah. Finally, Besser's back. Okay, so that's 24 players. Somebody has to go down. Is anybody... Hogwander's waiver exempt, but I don't want to send him down. Same with Colson. So we're going to have to risk losing one of our fringe guys.
And Patan down.
I think, yeah, it's going to have to be Patan. Well, actually, let's look at
Oh,
how they've
no,
been doing
Dowling.
this year.
Throw Dowling down.
Yeah, Dowling is 1.5 stars, and he hasn't been doing that well. Haven't taken a look at the stats. Might as well do it now because we're at the halfway point of the year. So Miller doing great. Pettersson doing a little better than he is in real life. Hughes, as usual, good. Besser was point a game before he went down. Connor Garland, a little disappointing. He's done better for the real Canucks. Horvat could be scoring more. Pearson, not great for the money he's making, although he's missed a few games. Ekman Larson, well, more productive than he actually is, but that huge contract, it's still bad. Myers, okay-ish. Dickinson, okay.
Who is he playing with on your team right now?
Rathbone. So we got him with the rookie. That's probably not helping a whole lot. Maybe I should swap Chera in there, and Dowling's got to go down. I don't think we're going to lose him, but let's see what happens.
It's not really the end of the world if you lose him.
Now we got other 1.5 star guys, although we really do need to start loading up in the prospects. Come to think of it, let me take a look at the prospects ranking and just see how bad it is for us on there. As soon as we get to that. Okay, so there's the individual rankings, but the system rankings, the game has us at, oh, fantastic, number 32 overall, dead last in the league.
That's quite a drop.
The
88th.
Colson is the best prospect we have, and he's number 104 overall. Minnesota with the best prospect group, so they shouldn't, even with that cap problem we mentioned next year, they won't be too much trouble. Buffalo after that, Detroit, Anaheim, and the Devils. So we've got literally nobody. This is a top 100 list. We don't have a single player listed on it. That is a problem. That is a big problem. Okay, Besser's back. Mott goes out. -9. Chasson's been playing a little bit better than him. Although I think I'm going to take Chasson out and put Patan back in. And swap Rathbone and Char for a little while. Demko's still hot, starting against Florida, and comes up with a 5-0 shutout. And Ekman Larson gets 2. Yeah, there we go. We put Ekman Larson and Char together, and they're the first and second stars.
Nice.
So maybe that's going to work out. I'm assuming Char is probably going to retire after this year. So we still should think of him as trade bait when we get closer to the deadline, which is about 6 weeks out from here. Won't get to it this stream. We'll probably have to do it next time. And now who's hurt? Oh, great. It's Pettersson. Day-to-day with a black eye. So Horvat will finally get a chance to get some points, and oh god, it's against Tampa. I should have started to lack for this because we're going to get, well, not crushed, but it's a 4-1 loss, and they did not shoot us too badly. We didn't embarrass ourselves at least, although we gave up 3 goals in the first period. Oh, we also have the Olympic break coming up. I didn't think of that. As there's no Omicron variant in this game.
You're not running one of the teams, right?
Nope. We'll just sit back and watch it. Phil Giuseppe 4 assists in the minor leagues. For us, although he's 28, I don't think he's got any future with us. Pedersen's still out with the black eye, and Halak is going to need to go in to give Demko a rest. And we're now under 500 again because we dropped that 4-1 to Carolina. So we improved slightly over the course of tonight's stream, but not doing a whole lot. And is the rest of the division catching up to us now? Let's see in a second. Yeah, the Oilers are building up a bit of a lead on us. Well, I think it looks like we're going to be fighting LA for a playoff spot at this point. Although, no, it looks like it's going to be close. And if I make some trading deadline moves, I think we'll probably be out of it. And still no Pedersen back for the Capitals, so we're going to have to try to steal a couple of points here. Nope, 4-1 loss. So we're now 2 games under 500, which is, I think, exactly where we started this.
Hovering. You're still 2 games under 500? Is that what it says?
Yeah, well, we just went, we're 2 games. It's the first time we've been this bad in a little while. Pedersen is almost back, but not quite. Although he is ready to play, so I think I'm going to put him in, even if he's only at 80% fitness. And we'll take Mott out. Lines look okay. So can we beat Nashville with this? I'm going to leave Demko in. He's apparently still staying hot despite us going downhill. And comes up with 3-0 shutout. And now Quinn Hughes is injured. Oh boy. Oh no. No, that's not good. Quinn Hughes, ruptured disc in his back, out indefinitely. That is... If that's the end of the season for him, that's probably the end of the season for us too, because we've got nothing to replace that offense on the blue line.
No, that's going to hurt a lot.
Gonna have to call Shen up, and just to cover that spot in the system, I'm going to give he's on our main roster now. Sign Sotner out of Abbotsford. And send him back down, even though it's going to expose him to waivers. Burrows has to go into the lineup. Unlock those two defensive positions. What is that? Ekman Larson missed. Oh, good God. It wants to put Burrows on the first line. No, that's not happening.
Well, that's a good way to tank.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Rathbone, Burrows on the third line. Third pair rather. That is not pretty. So if Ekman Larson doesn't pick it up now, we're in deep trouble. Oh, geez, the news story is saying 8 months. It's January, so we may get him back for training camp next year.
Oof.
Okay, well, that's kind of forced our hand here. We're going to have to go into a rebuild with this.
All right. So I guess maybe that's a good place for us to leave up.
I think, the logical point, because we're going to have to
put everyone on the trade block.
Maybe not everyone, but...
Nope, put everyone. See what offers come in.
Trade the entire team. That seems logical.
Everything for draft picks, Jeff. Everything for draft picks.
And play a bunch of 18-year-olds next year. Sure thing.
Well, you can sign some free agents with all that cap room you'll have. I think this is a brilliant plan.
I'm sure you do.
All right. Should we start doing the wrap-up then?
Go ahead. Wrap it up.
All right. So thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments, as well as twitch.tv/Franchise Hockey Manager. We do occasionally, or basically every other week, stream on our Steam page as well, as many of you have watched tonight on there. The game currently is on sale for 25% off for the holiday. So that means it runs you a price of $29.99 USD. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments. You can also find us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey. You can find a link to our official Discord in our Twitter bio as well. Of course, come on down to our official website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, which will bring you to our official forums where you can come talk about Franchise Hockey Manager and see some of our new mods, Out of the Park Baseball, Perfect Team, Out of the Park Go, or anything else you wish to discuss. And just because I'm going to keep saying it, Franchise Hockey Manager 8 is on sale. It's on sale on our website for the non-Steam version. Or the Steam version, as well as on Steam, and I believe Epic Game Store as well has a sale on too. Jeff, did I miss anything?
No, I think you got everything there. We forgot to look at one thing while it was happening. The World Junior Championships finished earlier this month. Canada with a close 4-3 win in the final over Finland to get the gold, and the U.S. with a 6-0 win to get the bronze over the surprising German team. So, I'm not sure we had any. No, of course we didn't have any players because our best prospect is playing for the team already, and we've got no real other prospects.
The Canucks.
Yep. Oh, that is a scary depth chart. But we'll have to try to do something about that next time. We'll be making some trades at the trading deadline. Maybe bring in some better young guys, but. You got to wonder if some of the guys like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to move Ekman Larson with his big contract, but it might be the logical time to move somebody like Miller now, and it may have to go even deeper than that. So I guess we will see you guys next time. I think we're going to be streaming next Wednesday as usual, since the holidays didn't land in the middle of our typical streaming date. I think Adam you were going to go...
I believe so. That's the plan right now.
What is it, 1990 Jets? We're still in there?
1990 Jets now, yes.
Yeah, 90 Jets, trying to keep them from moving to Arizona. With mixed results so far, but we'll see how that goes.
Well, we have doubled our goaltending power, so we shall see. All right, so thank you very much for tuning in.
And we will see you a week from now. Thanks.